Alright, I want for you to put away all of your color pencils except for your gray, okay? We're going to need to lay in a powder layer into all of these scales, level 1 powder layer with gray, and then we're going to need to outline all of these scales. Don't worry, we're going to do much more to this later and add several different components to the scale to give a hint of color to it, to make the scale look a little bit more 3D. But as for now, we need to just simply focus on the gray, get in a gray powder layer, and then outline all of our scales. It's very important that the powder layer is level 1, that it's in small circles, and that we're not getting it in between the scales. I'm using the side of my pencil. I'm also rotating in the opposite direction to help even out my color. This is going to be very time consuming, I understand, but this is going to be one of the coolest things that you have ever made, because we are going to layer a bunch of really awesome 3D effects on top of these powder layer gray scales. Remember, when you're doing your powder layer of gray, don't get it into this little third eyelid. That's this little curved triangle part right here. Later on, when we do our finishing touches, we're going to add a color into our curved triangle third eyelid area. So I'm almost done. I'm making sure to keep this nice and light. It is time consuming, but it is going to be worth it. Okay, so here's an advanced tip for how to outline. You're used to outlining all at the same pressure, where everything is this equally heavy and sharp pressure. A more professional way to do this is to change it up a bit. Like, while your pencil is sharp, go through and find some random spots to do sharp outlines. And then when your pencil starts to get a bit more dull, then go in and do some more dull outlines. Also, change it up even more and create kind of dotted line outlines every once in a while. You don't want to have the same type of pressure. Sometimes do a light. You want to change up your pressure. You want to change up how sharp the pencil is. See, I'm skipping around. I'm not really staying on one scale. And sometimes I am doing a dotted outline. And now my pencil is pretty dull again, and so I'll sharpen it up. And I'll move around and lay in some sharp area outlines. And I'll move in and think of a couple of spots to do some dotted outlines. So I'm going to apply that outline concept to my main piece that I'm doing here. My pencil's very sharp, so I'll go in and in just some random scales choose some sharp areas. I'm just moving all over the place and randomly selecting some sharp areas. Then I'll change it up. I'll say, okay, I want to do some dotted line outline areas. So I'm going around and I'm looking for some random spots to leave dotted lines. Then I'm going to think, okay, I want to do some light pressure outline areas. So I'm going to go in and choose just some random corners, edges to do light pressure, and I'm moving all around. And then I'll say, okay, I want to go back in and now do some heavy pressure areas. And I'll even revisit my old scales. I'll use the side of my pencil sometimes. I'm just steadily changing it up. Different pressures, sometimes dotted outlines, and sometimes some light pressure outlines that where the pencil is a bit more dull. So now I have done my variety of outlines. I just want to do a close-up to show you not all of the outlines perfectly connect. Some outlines have heavy pressure, some outlines have light to medium pressure. Some of them are dotted lines. And with this nice variety of different types of outlines, it makes the image, even without any color in the scales or 3D effects in the scales, look very professional. Okay, so we're sticking with our gray, and I want you to notice this large shelf of scales. Like, this is a shelf right here, and then it turns into here. It goes off the paper a little bit and curves up and over. For these large shelf of scales, we're going to do, from the bottom of each scale, a 4-3-2 fade, a 4-3-2 fade. I have it on a chart on the online art show, from the bottom of the scales going up, a 4-3-2 fade, 4-3-2, 4-3-2. So we're going to focus on that first. So level 4 pressure. That's this right here. It's not heavy and it's not extremely heavy. It's like a medium heavy. So we start at the bottom of the scale, and I'm doing some small circles. I'm starting out with my level 4. It's going to take a couple of layers to get it to the level 4. So I'm going back over the same area. So I can check to see that's pretty close to a level 4. This was done with a black crayon, but as for a gray, that's a level 4 of a gray. So that abrupt line right there needs to go away. I need to fade this level 4 into a 3-2. So I'm going to slowly start to fade this 4. I'm blending and buffing out that line. Sometimes I'm going to circle in the opposite direction. So this area is about to be my 3. And the top part of this scale, the scale that's going towards the top of the page, needs to be a level 2. I already have a level 1 down there. That's my powder layer. I can do a better outline right here. I didn't outline that very good. So I've done me a 4-3-2 fade. You don't see any abrupt lines. 4-3-2 fade. I'm going to do that 4-3-2 fade, 4-3-2, 4-3-2. I'm pretending like my 4 is cut off of my paper right here, so it's just going to be a little bit of a 3 and a 2. Pretending like my 4 is way down here, cut off of the paper, 4, 3, and 2. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll do you one up here because I know that one up here above might feel strange, so I need to do me another 4-3-2 fade up here, pretending like I've done these already. So I'm going to lay down a level 4. It'll take me a while to get there. Level 4 is facing down closer to the bottom of the page, and then I'm going to slowly, as I get closer to the top of the page, even though the scale is going at a diagonal, slowly as I get closer to the top of the page, I'm going to fade it into a 3 and a 2. Need to make that more of a 4. So here again, just like on my chart, I did a 4-3-2 fade. There needs to be a 4-3-2 fade, 4-3-2 fade. You can refer to the chart. I'll show you what it looks like when I do this shelf of large scales in a 4-3-2 fade. Alright, so this is what it looks like when I've done my 4-3-2 fades on this large shelf of scales. We then have a series of other large scales that go off of the page. And what I have down for my chart is to just do 3-2 fades. 3-2 fades. So anytime that a scale is where it's closest to the bottom of the paper, that's going to be my heaviest. So this part of the scale is closer to the bottom of the paper, so that's where I'm going to do my level 3. Gotta be really careful with these edges, because if you don't hold them down, then you can crinkle your paper. So I've done me a 3-2, so it's not as heavy as the 4-3-2. It's just a 3-2 fade. So this scale right here, this part of the scale is closest to the bottom of the page, so that's where my 3 is going to be. And the part of the scale that's closest to the top of the page is where my lighter value is going to be. So it's going from a 3 up to a 2. I know that your scales might be in slightly different spots, so down here I'm pretending like a scale went off of my paper, like the 3 is down here. So really I'm just finishing it off with a 2. It's as if my 3 was down here and that we cropped it out. We're pretending like it got cropped out. So this just ends up being a 2. This is a scale where I see the bottom of it and it's closest to the bottom of the paper, so my 3 is going to be down here. Being extra careful with the side of my paper so that I don't wrinkle it. 3 2s go by pretty fast. I have another one down here. This is just going to end up being a 2 because I'm pretending like all this area was the scale and it got cut off. I'm just going to improve my outline a little bit. I now want to focus on this medium size shelf right here. This is going to be a 5-4-3 fade. You can refer to this on the picture on the online art show. I know that right now these scales are lighter than these, but they're going to end up being darker fades than the large ones. And then this shelf right here is going to be even darker than these. But let's just focus on this shelf to start off with. We're doing 5-4-3 fades. 5 is almost the heaviest pressure that you can do. All of our 5s are going to start out closest to the bottom. Whatever part is closest to the bottom of the paper, that's where our 5s are going to be. I'll start off with a simple one. We're going to do level 5 at this part of the scale because it is closest to the bottom of the paper. I still have my gray. Level 5. Then I'm going to fade it up into a 4. Then I'm going to fade it into a 3. This is what it looks like when you get a couple of 5, 4, 3s going. Now the scales are kind of changing direction, but this part of the scale is closest to the bottom of the paper, so I'm gonna do my level 5 down here and fade it up into a 4 and a 3, level 5 here, start to fade it up into a 4 and a 3. I'm going to skip over on this side just to show you this scale right here. I need a 5, 4, 3. This part of the scale is closest to the bottom of the paper, so that's where my level 5 is going to be. I'm seeing that I could do a better outline job than that to kind of carve out that scale. Notice I don't have any abrupt lines. Everything smoothly fades. I'm going to finish off this shelf. Okay, so these are darker. These medium-sized ones are darker than these larger sized ones. Now I want you to look at the shelf, the smallest one closest to the eye. These are going to end up being the darkest. This is a 6, 5, 4, 3 fade inside of these. 6 is your absolute heaviest pressure. And I'll start off with an easy one. My absolute heaviest pressure with my gray, this is a 6, 5, 4, 3. Very, very heavy at the bottom. I'm going to do another very heavy at the bottom right here. Level 6, 5, 4, 3, level 6, five, 4, 3. It's starting to change direction. My 6 is going to be down here and my 3 is going to be up here, so I'll do a level 6 closest to the bottom of the paper. And I'm actually fading this now at a bit of a diagonal to a 5, 4, 3. 6, 5, 4, 3, and you can refer to the color chart to see what way to do this fade. I'm going to go ahead and fill this inner shelf with 6, 5, 4, 3 fades. What I want for you to go ahead and do is this drop shadow that went over these scales and the eye. It actually needs to continue with some medium pressure and go over these particular scales. So the drop shadow starts here, it continues over the eye and out to the other side. This piece here is causing a shadow right there. So I want this eyelid to look like it's coming out from space and going over, so this is going to stay light. You can refer to the chart on the online art show. The upper eyelid is a 3, 2, 1 fade. On actually the medium-sized shelf and the 2 small shelves, all of the scales start with 3 at the bottom and fading into a 2. So level 3 is medium to light pressure, and going up and completing the scale in a level 2. I'll do an example on this smaller shelf, a level 3, fading it up to a 2. level 3 to 2, 3 to 2. I'll do another example of one of these medium-sized ones, level 3. Out and away at 2. I'm realizing that I could make this look like it's popping out more in space if I darken that first large shelf a little bit more close to the edges. It's time to color in the third eyelid. You can mix any variety of colors that you want. I want to have some type of blend, so I'm lightly putting in colors and seeing what direction I like for it to go into. There's nothing wrong with graying it out a little bit. Then what we need to do is in between the cracks, you can choose a solid color that you chose from the center of your eye, or you can choose all of the colors and have it steadily change colors throughout the scales, in between the scales. So I chose colors that can be found in the center of my eye, and I'm going to be bold and I'm going to start laying them in between my scales. And you can do the entire dragon with just one color, or you can slowly, like I think it would be cool to have this start to slowly fade into a yellow. And fade into a red. And maybe fade back into a yellow. Don't get it into your scales though. I know that it's tempting to get lazy and start to slowly put it into the scales. Keep it in between your scales. Let's see. You can have this go back into magenta. can start doing some turquoise. I'm using medium pressure. Later on I might gray some of this out so not everything is so super crazy bright. I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done with this step. So I've finished up the in-between parts of my scales. If you're wanting a more 3D effect, then you just go in and haze out some scales, like you'll skip a border. And I'm hazing out. I can skip a little border right here. And haze out and away. And let's see if I go in and skip.